Yo, call me Tendo, I'm deceased like Uncle Ben. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Kids. Today, and only today, we are here with a fun video where I'm gonna give you my 10 things I want and need most from Sonic Superstars. The game is still slated for this year and we do not have a release date or much more information since the, debut month where I got to play it and all that stuff. But we do know that Sega is going to be at Gamescom. That just got confirmed today actually. So I'm guessing that's gonna be the place where we get, a new demo build, new trailer, official release day, and that's gonna be a big marketing push. But I have a lot of hopes and dreams for this game, not just because I played it, but because I feel like they're putting a lot of love and effort into it. So let's get right into this. Also, please subscribe to your boy and support the content. Now, the first thing here, by the way, these are not gonna be in order. Replay value. Now, a big part of 2D in general Sonic, right, is replay value. I feel like the games, the whole point is the levels are shorter, so you want to go back to them. You want to go, redo them, get better at them, and I hope this game has a lot of replay value. Not just, in the typical way of, you go back with different characters, but we know this game you have the Chaos Emerald powers, and I hope, that incentivizes replay value. I hope, okay, once I have all of the powers, when I play the first level in the game, how different is it gonna be? Are there gonna be crazy different paths I can go to, especially when I use different characters? I feel like that's something that's gonna be pretty massive. I don't know, having Knuckles combined with, potentially 7 Chaos Emeralds abilities, sounds crazy to me, and I hope they do something fun like that where the replay value feels, there. Not just that, I want stuff to do in the game, like their time trials and other stuff. Give me stuff that's replay value, and also add a ranking system. I know the 2D Sonic games don't usually have a ranking system, but I feel like that would be really fun. Second thing, a banger OST. Now, last night, T-Plus made a crazy tweet, in my opinion, saying that he thinks his work on Superstars is better than Mania. You gotta understand, that's not just a bold claim. That's like a dick swinging on the table type claim, because Sonic Mania OST is one of the best in video games. To this day, people that, content creators that don't even give a shit about Sonic have songs like Studiopolis in the background, or even, Press Garden Zone, or what's Mirage. There's a ton of songs from Mania, original and remix, that just people just love to use in their videos and just obviously love listening to because they're so good. So to say this soundtrack is potentially better than that, to me is crazy, and I want that, because from the first 2 zones I played, again, I was so long since I played and it was really loud at the event that I didn't get to fully hear, but I enjoyed those tracks, but I wasn't oh, here it is, but I'm thinking, it's going to happen. I can't wait till we get to that level where we hear a song, we're oh my god, everybody pause for a sec, this is it. And again, I trust T-Lopes with my life when it comes to music, and I know Jin Senua is also working on the songs with him, so let's see what the boys cook, and I'm hoping for the best. Next up, costumes. So costumes are a thing that they've sort of been teasing, right? We have the pre-order newsletter exclusive skin of Amy, where classic Amy wears the modern fit. We know there's this Lego Sonic collaboration where, again, if you pre-order that, you get an Eggman skin, but that tells me that the base game is gonna have a Sonic costume. And we have some other thing that might have been hidden, right? You see that little, that little pixel art world Sonic's in, or the digital world. There's a moment, where they all look voxelated. Now, I'm wondering if that voxel thing is a costume or a gimmick in the level. I'm not sure, but I feel like that could also be a costume, and I'm just hoping that the game has a bunch of these. You can get these big coins in the levels, and I hope you can spend those coins to get different character costumes. I mean, I would love something classic Sonic that looks more like Toei Sonic, or even a classic Sonic that almost looks like modern Sonic would be cool, or even just modern Sonic, just have him as a little costume in there, that'd be fun. Or obviously Knuckles with the cowboy hat, Tails with his little, travel hat, not this travel hat, you know what I mean, his pilot hat. I feel like little costumes for the character would go a long way, and even event costumes, hey guys, oh, it's Christmas, here's the characters with costumes. I feel like Sega needs to embrace the fact that, people love these things, these costumes and platformers nowadays, and modders are gonna do this anyway, right? So you might as well capitalize on it yourself, and I hope they do more stuff. I mean, they're doing this Lego collab, right, for a big, costume set, presumably, and I hope there's more collabs like that in the future. Keep the game alive with stuff like that. Fourth thing I'd like is story with some continuity. Now, obviously, when it comes to classic Sonic, it's not about the story, but when it came to a game like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it felt like it conveyed a story with no words, right? And it did a great job of it, right? Mania a little bit, there are some of those little cutscenes, but I hope they sort of dive into it a bit more. I hope there are more cutscenes sprinkled through the game besides, you know, an intro and an outro, because we know there's an opening cutscene. But I hope, I don't know, maybe when you get midway through the game, some event happens and you see, like, you know, a full cutscene or even an in-game cutscene. That, again, it doesn't have to be crazy, but I just want something that sort of like keeps you like looking forward to little moments like beating, you know, the third zone of the game or the fourth one or whichever, you know, make little events in the game. All right, the fifth thing here: character super forms. Now, obviously, you know, this has always been a hot debate and conversation in general, but I feel like it's gonna be weird to see, you know, because we know in the classic games the characters just glow, you know, like Knuckles, Tails, you know, and now Amy and Orange Blizz, they just kind of glow when they get their super forms. But I do hope there's a bit more to it with them. I feel like I doubt there's gonna be, you know, a unique design for them. That would be incredible. I would love that. But I feel like it would be so cool though if there was some sort of new design for them. You know, I would love if Amy's quills, you know, went upwards when she went super. I would love if, you know, they actually confirm, you know, Super Knuckles, right? And he is glowing pink, because they do mention that in Sonic Frontiers. I hope Tails has a bit of a form. Like, I don't know, like, I hope they sort of give the characters super forms and whatever, you know, a secret character might have. Speaking of secret characters, that's the next thing I'd like to talk about, is I want new playable characters. Now, obviously, Amy is on the team now. That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. But there's obviously this character, you know, that we have on the screen that we think is playable, but we don't know yet. Now, I hope we can unlock them, or maybe we can unlock Fang. I'm not sure. You know, I would love either of them to be unlocked, you know, new character or Fang, or even someone else, just surprises. But obviously, when it comes to a Sonic game, like, a playable character is a big deal, you know, because that's another reason to replay the game with that character's moveset and style. But I'm guessing that new character is going to be the one that becomes playable. But again, Fang, come on, Sega, just come on, make it, let me play as it. Next up is one that I know not everybody is fond of, but I'm down for, is DLC. Now, it's very clear Sega likes DLC, especially when it comes to 2D Sonic. I mean, Sonic Mania got a Plus Edition, Sonic Origins got a Plus Edition. Like, it seems like they like to do this thing where, like, a year after the main release, they have, you know, a plus/new incentivized version to play the game. Now, obviously, I hope this game is, you know, feature, you know, complete, that it feels like when we get DLC that it's gonna be, you know, extra and not something that was taken away. But I do hope for DLC. I hope we get a Superstars Plus where they get new, like, new characters in there, new costumes and stuff. I'm always down for a reason to go back to a game. You know what I mean? I love when games are complete and everything, but please, I would love it so much if Sonic Superstars got new content over time. Next up is character specific levels, right? I love those few moments in classic Sonic games where, like, you're playing as a character and you're suddenly, oh, this isn't the level I was in with Sonic. Like, I would love something like that. Now, I think we know that's actually in the game because it was in a debug menu that we saw Amy had a level, and I think they've talked about it in an interview. I could be wrong about that, but character-specific levels would be awesome. Again, it's a way to incentivize replay value. It makes the characters' campaigns unique. I feel like at the very least, every character deserves one or two character-specific levels. You know, obviously, expecting a full campaign for them doesn't make sense, but at least a level that is centered around that character and that moveset would be fucking dope. Next up is the online features. Now, we know this game is going to have an online, but not for the base campaign. It's going to be for something like battle mode or something. Listen, I just want this to be fun and cool, you know, whether it's you're racing in a level against people, whether it's, you know, maybe again, a actual battle mode where you're fighting others. I want this online to be something that's fun. Again, it's not a big deal. I can play Parsec to play with my friends, you know, online, but it would be nice to have an official, you know, online co-op. But I just think platformers don't want to do that really. You know, we're seeing it with Nintendo for a lot of their 2D games. We've seen it with Sonic, you know, we've seen it with a bunch of companies where platformers online clearly just are not, you know, the way for some reason. I'm guessing it's because of stuff like, you know, input lag or stuff, you know, that'll ruin the flow. But regardless, I do hope the online is more than just leaderboards. You know, I hope there are some fun modes. I hope they add fun modes to it. And I hope you can, you know, do something like level up online, get some more of that in-game currency, maybe buy some cool collectibles. And last but not least, the thing I want most is just creativity in zones. Obviously, when it comes to Sonic games, zones are the life and blood of the series, especially in 2D Sonic. You know, when it comes to 2D Sonic, it's not like Mario where you just gotta play through the game. It's a nice obstacle course, but you don't remember a specific level in a 2D Mario game. In Sonic, you know, you remember the zone. You know, you're like, oh man, I adore Chemical Plant. Oh man, I adore Stardust Speedway. I adore, you know, Flying Battery if you're a psychopath. You know, you get what I mean. Like, I feel like the zones are such an important identity to Sonic, and I hope some of these zones are ones that become iconic and, you know, are super fun. Because, like, the first zone in the game for Sonic Superstars, I really love. Like, it's super fun, it's super cool. The jungle one is super dope that I played through. But I want ones that really, like, stand out. You know, like, the moment I went to Studiopolis, I was like, oh my god, you know? The moment even I went to a level like Metallic Madness back in the day, and I was like, this music is bumping, right? And I could remember the look of it. So I just want zones where, like, obviously I'm super happy that all of these are going to be original levels, but I want zones that, you know, stay in my memory forever. Even like a level like Precious Garden Zone, when I got to Act 2 and, you know, you see these cherry blossoms, like, oh my god, like, make the zones, you know, from Act 1 to Act 2 very different, you know, to like make it like a progression thing. Like, I just want the zones to be creative, memorable, and just something that is gonna make Sonic history. So yeah, those are the 10 things I want most from Sonic Superstars. Let me know something you would like to see, or which one of these you find is the most important. And of course, guys, I love you, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.